sub-villain here. iDragon, are you still hanging around with us here? Overwatch League. Okay, got it. Dragon, all right, Jacob's here too. Crispy crab meat, just a little spice, enough to give it some heat. Oh man, Ramen, I love you so much. Jedi Crusader, Coffee Cat exists for now. All right, well then, while we still have folks, why don't we delve into this here? All right, so the villain that we're going to be cooking up is going to, in storytelling in an adventure, this is going to be the villain that is obviously the villain. You know, I think we're going to make a villain that is more of an unlikable character. Someone who's an outsider, someone who is the leader of the cult. And obviously this is the person we have to bring down, and clearly there's no one else that is pulling the strings from the shadows, right? This is the person who we might end up with, like a Yuan-Ti or a lizard man or whatever. But this will be the villain that you put out there is a guilty party, but is effectively the red herring. And with a manipulative boss like the one that we created, that's to take the heat off so that the boss can go and abduct the people or have other cultists come in. So he needs a rabble rouser. He needs someone who can stir up trouble, is an outsider, doesn't necessarily care about the area, is fine to threaten it. Now, with this in mind, I still want to roll for some of these traits randomly, but I want to actually have a bit more focused of an idea for this villain that we're going to be making. Because he is now filling a particular role that we have that was created by the content we've made before. Jedi Crusaders exist in one of the dimensions, still exist in all of them, but I'm not me in those other ones. Black Wolf is geeking out over Overwatch League. Yeah, Jacob was posting some emotes for that earlier. Jedi Crusader says a halfling. Hey, Azrael, welcome. Use a necromancer. It's a classic villain. He raises the dead, makes soldiers to fight for him as a potent villain. He could be, but we can fall back to that. Let's see where some of these prompts take us first, Jacob. And then if we want to make the person a necromancer, or it's honestly just leaning that way, we can jump there. All right, let's go to page 74 of the DMG. So here we are, adventure villains. I'm going to roll a d20 and let's get a prompt from here. And we'll get a prompt, but I'm more willing to have a more active hand in guiding the prompt in the direction we're looking for than scattering all the bones and reading anything we can find in our augury dish. All right, D20, a 9. A humanoid cultist. Well, you don't say. All right. But you know what? This'll work. Because if we got something else, maybe it doesn't have to be the obvious cult leader. Could just be an orcish warband is going into town causing a distraction. That's fine too. It could be a neutral third party. Is still an enemy, is still a boss that has to be taken care of, but isn't necessarily affiliated with the big evil. But here we have a humanoid cultist. Now, I was prepared for something like this. It says humanoid, not human. There are many humanoids, including if we go over to something like Volo's Guide. And if you want something more exotic, you can go here. Right? There are other humanoids. If you want to suspend, goblinoid as a type, there are hobgoblins and bugbears and such. Could be a triton, could be all sorts of things here, right? Tabaxis. And I believe that even the Yuan-Ti are considered humanoids. A kobold demonologist suggests Azrael. Well, we shall see. Right now we know it's humanoid. Now, technically, goblinoid is not, you know, is not here. So, yeah. Now, the objective or scheme, again, I think we have a direction that we can curve the random result in. Because, especially being confirmed by our random roll on our adventure villain, this guy's going to be pretty well the lackey. Is going to be the second banana. Is going to be, you know, the enforcer of the cult. And kind of the cult leader, but not like the demonic influence leader over the territory that's succumbing to Juiblex's return. So we scroll down to page 94. The villain scheme is going to be determined on a d8. 3, that's magic also. And we roll a 6. 2, build a construct or a magical device. We are really getting a henchman here. In fact, you know what that means? That means that we have a very good cover for our true villain. Because that's the bend we're going in here. Now, the villain's methods may differ. Let's roll a d20. We rolled a 13. Not stalking, but it is one word. Neglect. And this villain, this sort of boss villain that we're creating here, the villain's weakness is on a d8. A 3. The villain is weakened in the presence of a particular artifact. Occupation and history, we're going to leave that a mystery for right now. Same with useful knowledge. The ooze bloodline? I don't know of an ooze bloodline. Imagine a tabaxi cultist. That'd be wild, says iDragon. I get very little sleep in Overwatch League nights, so many noises coming out of my computer. Got it. A changeling, and Meow says XCat. Yeah, this will be like a sub-boss. I'm hearing Necromancer, Alchemist, Tinkerer, Clockwork Magician. You should have him a complex and someone says sub-boss. He attacks him and say, anyone else think I'm a sub-boss? Requires a power source. Perhaps he himself is a construct built by a mastermind. Let's keep these in the air and consider them. You all are throwing out a lot of really solid ideas. 89. With whatever the race is going to be, 5. Ragged dirty clothes. We have this weird kind of like clone. I mean, the other one is nicer clothes, but carries himself ragged dirty. Oh man, we're going to be describing this character, and the PCs are just going to want to eat him up, or her. We haven't determined that yet, or it. The abilities are going to be rolled on 2d6. High is strength, low is intelligence. Talent of 6. Oh. Great with children. Maybe we know who goes out and kidnaps. This is how they find the cult leader, caught in the act of kidnapping kids to sacrifice. A scrappy outsider who can tempt kids and take them back to the demonic area for like conversion or sacrifice. Mannerisms 15 stares into the distance. Again, we have a solid idea where we want this character to go. This is giving us perhaps some interesting ideas that can help feed it. So this character is pretty well predetermined in many ways in our minds. But now we're the challenge isn't to build from nothing like we did with our organic first villain. Since we have our idea, now we want to make kind of a complement to that character, and we're going to build towards this concept by using the random prompts and bending and twisting them as necessary. Aki Angry. I've got a villain in my Campania who's good with kids and that they're super nice to them and run an orphanage. And they use them as child soldiers. Yep. And so, you know, we're moral upstanding. Well, you can't do that. That's cruel. And you know, and your villain might even say, look, it could be legal. It could be, you know, cheap labor. There may be no one who really cares because they're orphans or whatever. And so, hey, Aki, I appreciate you sharing your story about that. And if you want to continue with it, you're welcome to do so here. And also, thank you for the follow. Someone asked me what made you strong. Your answer, someone asked you what made you strong. Your answer broke them. So what, if you want to continue that thought, Nem, you're welcome to do so. His interaction traits. When he interacts with folks, what happens? A D12? 5. Also curious. This is getting curiouser and curiouser as we take a look at our curious interaction. And you know where? Maybe the worship of Juiblex is drawing to a particular someone. And I'm getting an idea for a backstory. Let's roll 2d6 to discover the ideal. 1 and 3. Greater good. Bond on a D10. We rolled a 9. Out for revenge. How could we bend that prompt to what we're seeking? Well, let's get one more piece of information. What is a flaw or a secret? And see if this is going to be relevant. 1. Forbidden love or susceptibility to romance. Definitely a warped greater good here. If this is Juiblex in the background here, this is super interesting. Yes, so Juiblex is going to be the fiend patron of this cult, against which the PC's Archfey patron clashed some time ago, threw down the temple, and now someone's come back to resurrect it. Oh, yeah, Fagin. All right, so we have our prompts here. And I'm kind of thinking that this person might have even been someone who, from outside the area, came into contact with another distant shrine or hidden stash of Juiblex lore and artifacts. Ended up getting facehuggered. And in an attempt to reunify, has traveled here. And so was actually the first one to you know, maybe over the course of time through sacrifice or something, through conversion, you know, built a cult. So the cult leader comes in with the cult. Then the character, the Juiblex inside this character, splits or disgorges from this character and is left to be found by someone local and important for infiltration. And that is then where the cult might have done some things like, oh, hey, we saw some lights on in the old temple. But everyone's like, no, it's forbidden. You know, laws of the land say you can't go there. Well, here comes our good Mr. Mayor or our sheriff. We didn't necessarily fill out, you know, what he did in town. But this dwarf comes by to investigate, even though it's illegal and it's very dangerous. And now this is where the main villain gets gooped by this Juiblex, like seed or spawn or whatever. Now, the influence left behind on the inside of this boss is enough that the new one can exert control. So the original, like, Patient Zero came in from the outside, possibly with others, and infected a local person of good repute, who is now conducting clandestinely, because of that position of authority, is now, you know, conducting the expansion of the cult and the reclamation of this temple to Juiblex. And then sends out this character to do a lot of the dirty work, because by this point in time, I mean, this character could be, you know, completely, like, derped out or very loyal to Juiblex, as manifested in our dwarf above. You know, is kind of the enforcer. You know, the heavy, you know, the thug, the person who the PCs are definitely going to glom onto first, right? You're the obvious outsider. You're the obvious cultist. And so by the time that they take him down, they'll realize just how far in that things have proceeded and just what they're dealing with. Stop it. Sorry, there's a cat off screen that's, no, stop. Hey. Stop. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. You can lick my finger all you want to say I'm sorry, but the best way to say I'm sorry is to stop. We good? We good? Hey. I put food down for you. In the stream, well, not on the stream, but during the stream, I put food down for you guys. Oh, okay. So we have some quest takers. So if I don't know if Diadems went out, or if I know Derek went to bed, or if Darkwolf is around to give out some points. Yeah, and Fagin's the guy from Oliver Twist. Nem, you finished your furnace concept for your character. This is making me think of Babylon 5 and what happened to Sheridan's son with the shadows. Was Sheridan the one who had the really cool hair? Looked like a fan. Jacob, a seafarer bound by another demon lesser to Juiblex and controlled by the mastermind, becomes a pirate and builds the fleet to harass trade and shipping. So the mastermind retains his station and looks like the good guy still. His power with the sea weakens on land, and he uses child slaves to row his ship chained below deck. I'm not against it as a thought. It seems a little disjointed to what we've created so far, though, Jacob. Yeah, well, Ezreal. We were talking about cat butts on the stream, too. Oh, Commander Sheridan, that's right. I was thinking of, like, the vampire kind of sounding guy with the fan hair. Got it. Yeah, wait, he was on Babylon 5, right? I'm not just being crazy. Sheridan was Bruce Boxleitner, the guy that played Tron. Okay. Oh, you're going to bed, Jacob? Okay. Well, hey, Jacob. Thank you so much for hanging out and throwing out those ideas. I think we were able to incorporate a lot, and I like the idea of this outside influence coming in, and I think we can work with that. So thank you for being a part of the channel. Thank you for joining us on Discord. And oh, it's only 11:30 for you. Hey, it's 2:30, 2:34 where I am right now. But no, I completely understand. So Jacob, thank you for being a part of us, and we'll see you around, whether we're streaming or if we're on our Discord. Thank you. Dragon, if you attack normally, it's exclamation point 1d20. All right, so when you attack, it's a d20 plus the modifier. So if you attack with advantage or disadvantage, in D&D that's 2d20. Disadvantage, you keep the lowest. Advantage, you keep the highest. If it says to roll normally, that's just a 1d20 instead. Oh yeah, out of concern, please sleep. Oh, I'll sleep when I get to it, Jacob. I appreciate it. I will get there, I promise. Hey, all right, so Dragon, you rolled a 7, and now you go back to your adventure. It's 7 plus 2. That's the modifier. And so you got a 9. Unfortunately, for the giant elk, you needed an 11 or greater. So, unfortunately, iDragon, the elk probably tramples you into the ground and ditches you. Yeah, you're savaged by a giant elk. So I'm going to give you a ripperonis on that. Now, iDragon. I'll give you 50 experience points. So, unfortunately, you have died, iDragon. I mean, this is all roleplay. It's not actually accounted for. I want you to type in exclamation point res, please. R-E-Z-P-L-Z. Res, please. So we're going to drag your corpse back to a temple. And we might not have enough money to get you like a true resurrection, but we have enough to make you alive again. But when you come back, you might be different than when you leave. You might be different than when you got in there. You're dead, but not for long. When the spell ends, you rise to find yourself as a female dragonborn ranger. Hey, there you go, iDragon. Londo Malari was the fan-haired guy. Oh, thank you, Azrael. Londo, all right. So there you go. Now, iDragon, if you choose to roleplay with that prompt, you, as you go on adventures, you are a female dragonborn ranger. Have fun with it. Gareth, hey, welcome. Gareth, I'm doing well. We have had an awesome villain building session tonight. Well then, iDragon, consider it a roleplay challenge. Look, magic, weird things happen during magic. But at least you're alive. And there you go. Nem comes back as a female halfling fighter. All right, so with this flower secret, remember, for our lackey, for our sub-boss, for this second banana, in the tale, we can actually have this character be the first to arrive and the first evil guy, but is not going to be the final evil guy or girl in this case. See, Azrael is the right of it, then die and be reborn. There we go. Look, when you come back to life, magic is fickle, and You have an equal chance one way or the other. Oh yeah, Delcorin was a female tabaxi for a while. Had awesome nails, by the way. Instead of helping my party here in chat, yeah, you got your nails done. They're all glittery. You weren't saving them from the oozes, from the lewd oozes in exclamation point random dungeon. Have Matty on in background and working on a feats list for my world players. Okay. Well, Diadem's Dark Wolf ended up getting the EXP. Let's see. It says humanoid. We could roll with what's there. However, in Volo's guide, there are some outlanders, right? We have some others. And so I think a good way to summarize this up, there is a... Here we go. In the random height and weight is also listed in alphabetical, all the races that are available in Volo's guide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different races. Why don't I roll a 13-sided die? And this will determine what the race is of the originator of this curse, who's reawakening this temple to Juiblex, the ooze demon. Six. One, so Asamar, Bugbear, Furbolg, Goblin, Goliath, a Hobgoblin. Oh my. Alright, let's go Hobgoblin. We'll reference back to the character creation chart here. We'll roll percentile for female, male, or multiclass, and if we multiclass, we'll roll again. With a 69 on the dice, that is going to be male. We have a male Hobgoblin. Did you all want a lawful good character? One, two, three, four, five. A folk hero. And specifically folk hero number on a D10. We rolled a 9. I don't know what that is. We'll look that up in a second. Who is a barbarian. High strength, low int. Seems like a classic build. And of the two barbarian builds, we got odds, and that is a berserker. Can I help you? You have food, sir. Hi. Now, of course, what's lawful good to a hobgoblin may not be lawful good to this area on which we're focusing. And let's roll percentile to find out where in the life cycle this character is. With a 92, oh my. A venerable hobgoblin. Probably out, out for the last adventure ever, or perhaps died and is a host to this residue of Juiblex or something like that. A venerable, lawful good, male hobgoblin, folk hero number 9, barbarian berserker. So back in my day, oh, we didn't have teleportation spells. We had to dimension door both ways, uphill. Oh, I tell you what. Low-level adventurers these days. Rabble. What? Rebel. Alright, folk hero. EFG. So here we go. Or a goblin. Yes, diadems. Yeah, we had the dimension door both ways in the snow. Or both ways in a wild magic area. Oh, we didn't have this not wild magic. No. Magic was different. It was powerful. You know, not like these new spells, these magic economy spells. So never saying the furnace spider acts like what, like a ballista? So like a giant assault weapon? Yeah, the large crossbow. Mold Earth is a very good cantrip. Yes, X-Cat. And yes, there are cooldowns. iDragon, if you look below in the notes, you can see that there's a user cooldown and a global cooldown for different things if you wanted to see what commands were available. All right, so this is a defining event number 9. Oh my goodness. Hello. Does this story not write itself, everyone? Folk hero number 9. A celestial fae or similar creature gave me a blessing or revealed my secret origin. Yellow. Does this not write itself, everyone? So here we have, you know, a barbarian who even, I guess, fights against death. He's old. He's venerable. So, you know, we had some kind of a goblin. I was even starting to type it. Oh, diadems! A goblin from another land. Fought in many battles and ended up in strange places. His army conquered. This is a weird, almost like a Guts and Griffith moment. It may be all in the same character, like a yin-yang. As he assumed command of a group through skill and survival, they went into an old temple. Earning him many accolades among his goblins, bugbears, and other hobgoblins. That's what makes him the folk hero. They went into an old temple found in a ruin in territory they conquered. There he found a treasure that captured his interest. He captured the interest of the thing inside. Kept in a sealed crystal ball was a what do we want to call it? Like a goober of Juiblex? A booger of Juiblex? If we have bugbears, we could have boogers. Was a small aspect of Juiblex. It watched as it was sealed and saw the potential for a great host for a comeback. As he got older, the milky orb was released as a younger hobgoblin attacked him to take leadership away in his senility. Injured but alive, he fled with the orb, and after a time, that senility caused him to fall and break it. He released the aspect who offered him, and because we're trying to stick for we're trying to stick to some of the we're trying to stick to what we've created while also heading in this predetermined direction where we want him to be. We know where he's going to end up. We know what he's going to do. So how can we take these prompts and guide it in that way? Better than mold food, I guess. That's real. I don't know. That'd be an interesting cantrip. You can play a joke on a friend or accelerate the cheese-making process. XCAT is working on a simplified version of the UA ship rules for homebrew stuff. Well, if you can find simpler rules, XCAT, I don't know. It seems pretty light as it is. You made Kitty on Paper laugh, and she's not even paying attention. With what, Dark Wolf? Yep, the homunculus god of Mazriel. So this aspect of Juiblex, this ooze, like this Lord ooze demon, was released, and has now found a host. He got face huggered. He released the aspect who offered him. Oh, the story writes itself. Well, hey, I'm glad she was laughing, but hopefully she did find some inspiration to this process. I don't think. Well, hopefully none of us are really grinding our gears and have smoke coming out of our ears in trying to. Oh my gosh, how do we pull this figure out of nothing? How do we cajole? How do we cajole a figure to this predetermined location? Cats and dogs living together in mass hysteria. I don't think we're having those problems. There's been a lot of good ideas floating through chat. I'm simplifying it for a homebrew ship that uses 4 crew and stuff because the ship has more to it than a normal boat would. So I'm tuning down the rules for a more okay. Oh, gotcha, XCat. He released the aspect, and by this is explaining high strength, low int. He still has old man strength, but he's starting to lose his marbles. He released the aspect who offered him power in return for service. Seeking revenge, he accepted the gift and became the host for the Juiblex. If you want to call it whatever. It's a fun placeholder name. From there, he amassed. We'll say from there in his late middle age, he amassed a following with his star power and new strength of mind. And he still has his muscles. And reclaimed the warband from the young usurper. From there, with an army / cult, and maybe not thousands strong, maybe like it's a squad now or something. You know, maybe they defected and all he wanted was just like his boys back. From there, with an army or cult, he moved at his master's will to now reconquer the temple lost to the Archfey so long ago. Seeing the end of his natural life, he has finally reached this stage, and the Juiblex disgorged. That's a good verb to use. Are you gonna come up, or are you gonna bap at me? What are we doing? Come on, come say hi to people. You just don't do that and be like, oh, this is a thing I can smell. Like, come on, yeah. Disgorged itself and sat in wait as the host went on with the last instructions. This is where the dwarf now investigates and becomes the host. This is where the adventure begins. I will DM you more context later time, just in case any of my players are in chat. Okay, all right, XCat. Twig snaps. Oh, Azrael's going into the forest. Rolls on a 2. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. This giant elk is just going on a rampage. I mean, talk to anyone, though, in Canada or in Alaska. And, I mean, these large beasties can be deadly. Yeah, these elk really don't like us, Dragon. At XCat, I have the same issue with DM secrets because I know some of my players watch. Gotta watch out for those fraternal orders, right, Azrael? We need a DM group we can chat just to tell each other stuff we're planning, as long as we're in none of each other's games. Yes, obligatory cat butt. Yeah, this was round 2 of cat butt. Elk are brutal, says Aki. Well, they may not be here, but do any of them watch the VODs, or do they watch it on YouTube afterwards? Keep that in mind, too. Dragon is going to, the level 1 adventure here, the random plains. A bandit gang. Uh-oh. In fact, we cracked open a bandit. Earlier. So you get a gang of bandits coming after you. Your GP or your HP. Choose wisely. And so we have written a history to the introduction to the adventure. And so yes, we have like a one-trick pony villain now. He's and that could explain, he's the sub-boss cuz he's a barbarian, but he's getting on. You don't live forever as a barbarian. You have old soldiers and you have bold soldiers, but you don't have old bold soldiers. And you know what? This guy might have threaded the needle on that one, but he's not going to stick around forever. Oh, look, it's Matty. What do you mean, Azrael? Yeah, you attack with disadvantage, so you have to so roll 1d20 once more. Yeah, advantage or disadvantage is 2d20, normal is 1d20. But in this case, because you rolled a 1d20, just roll one more and keep the lowest. But if you still win, our lovely Miss Awu, KH Darkwolf, will award you 50 experience points, iDragon. Oh, that 8. 8. Oh, but you know what? Hey, no, Dragon. 8 plus 1 is 9. And all you have to do is meet or beat the number displayed, and you do it. Oh, the bandit, you think the bandit mini looks like me? Oh, really? Oh, but my hair doesn't have that nice orange tint to it. Though I think getting some like metal armbands would be cool. I do have some swords. Because why wouldn't I? Yeah, Dragon, it got scary there for a minute, but you know what? The bandits surrounded you, they moved in, you took a couple hits, you managed to dodge out of there and you took them down, and congrats. 50 EXP. Oh, and it looks like Darkwolf already got it there for you. All right. That's right. Shlomo is coming in with that sage advice. A win is a win. You may have got beaten up, but you know what? Now you have a cool story to tell it when the next time you're at the tavern. Where'd you get that scar? Oh, let me tell you. So we have a former soldier with that kind of that 1,000-yard stare, ragged, dirty clothes, and you know what? This great with children. Once more, though, you know, it could be that there's this subconscious that still remains, and as someone who's a leader, probably someone who's had children of his own, someone who's even seen, goblins and hobgoblins, whether they're kids or whatever, die in battle. That could be, he may be this grizzled old man, like very strong, but he could have some affection. That being said, given the fact that he's been sort of mind wiped or derped by being in contact with this thing for so long, he still maintains, he might have those eyes like, please escape, go. But he's saying that in his hollow mind. Meanwhile, he's acting out the will of Juiblex, this demon lord, as he goes to abduct people for sacrifice. But he's still a foreigner. He's still seen as a savage. And you know what? We as a DM may never really say, unless you want to offer that as an Easter egg. When you describe this person running away with the farmer's daughter, screaming, "Help me, help me," and someone just gets like a 30 perception, and they're also or a 20, 25, 30 perception, and maybe they're proficient in insight. That's when you can drop the clue. His eyes seem to speak differently than his actions. One sentence. They're probably not going to have a problem. The party will probably not have a problem with slaughtering an old outsider hobgoblin cultist. But we know what happened that brought him there. We know who he was before he was a cultist. And also where that handed off to the dwarf to bring us into the present. George Patton would argue with the old bold soldier. They may not never exist, but there's not a lot of them. Well, I guess Hobgoblin is just listed as a stat line there. Well, No, they have their segment here. So for those of you out there, iDragon or Azrael or anyone else, did you enjoy this process? Did you was this story coming alive? Did this seem especially taxing, or did this seem somehow beyond your reach to be able to do yourself? Do you like how simply by creating two villains with mostly random prompts that we have been able to now make a history, that we've been able to insert emotion into our story, that we've given our region purpose beyond there's the bad temple, go and bring it down because it does bad things and is filled with bad people. Right? We understand our villains a little bit more. They're not our villains, even our henchmen. I think we would end up presenting him as more one-dimensional. But if the opportunity for roleplay or exploration occurs, through whatever means, I don't know, they kill one of his followers that came over, because apparently the original cultists were some hobgoblins and goblins and whatnot that came over. And they cast Speak with Dead, or they somehow coerce. And they might learn this stuff if they really go out of their way to find these Easter eggs of lore. But otherwise, we'll present him in a one-dimensional fashion because he's there to serve a purpose and to do a job. I found that interesting, and it all fell into line fairly nicely. And you know what, Dragon? Everything that we do in this workshop, we don't have to force it. This isn't a one-time alignment of the planets where everything made sense. So hopefully, you got into this and you feel empowered and inspired. I always enjoy the character creation streams. They almost always take at least one interesting twist. And oh, what a twist, says Diadems. And here now, so yeah, all of this history, everything that we've been able to do,